guys, it's Christy, and today I'm going to be talking about the creative slump and specifically how to get out of it. So I thought that this topic was really relevant, particularly for this time of the year, because it's pretty yucky outside. I think most of us can agree, unless you are really blessed to be living in, maybe like Southern California or something. I just find that this time of year, every single year, I tend to hit sort of a slump where I just don't really feel like myself. I don't feel particularly inspired or motivated to do things. And I do think a lot of it has to do with the weather, but maybe it's not the weather for you. Maybe it's other life events happening. It could be so many things that kind of make you fall into this slump. And it's not always obvious how to get out. If you're a writer, you might refer to this as writer's block, but if you're some other kind of creative person, it just feels like you're treading through mud and you just don't feel that like boost of energy that you normally feel when you create things, and I think as a creative, we're so used to that. We're so used to having that energy to create, that joy of creating. And I think for creative people, it can be really hard when you hit a slump like this because, when it's something that you normally find joy in doing and now all of a sudden you just don't really have that motivation or inspiration to do it, it can really mess with your mind, and start to make you question things, question whether or not that's even a passion anymore, if that's even something that you should pursue. And it can be really dangerous in that way. But in this video, I really wanted to talk positively about ways that you can get out of this slump, specifically mindset tips and tricks that you can use to navigate your way out. And then also I was going to refer you to an additional resource. I have a blog post I put together, a long list of things specifically that you can do to spark that creative energy and start making your way out of that slump. But first, let's talk about mindset and ways that you can start to reframe your way of thinking and get out of that slump. Okay, so number one, the first thing I have is stop beating yourself up. So like I mentioned before, you can really start questioning everything. If you're following the right path, if you've done anything wrong, you start having all these negative thoughts aimed towards yourself. So that would be my first tip, is to give yourself some grace, because you can't go back to this creative mindset if you're constantly telling yourself all these nasty things. You need to focus on regaining your confidence, and if you're constantly beating yourself up, your confidence definitely isn't going to be at its peak, and so, therefore your motivation isn't going to be there. My second tip would be to get outside and live life. Meet up with some family members, some friends, do things that you enjoy, do things that feel good. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting out there and living your life. If depending on what kind of a creative you are, if you're a writer, all that life experience is just going to feed right back into your project. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about wasting time. Just get out there and live your life. So my third tip is remind yourself why you wanted to accomplish your goals in the first place. So whatever it is, that thing that is in the back of your mind that's making you feel guilty because you're not doing it. Whether it's, writing your book, like for me, it's revising my novel. I have to ask myself, why did I want to do this in the first place? And when you really start asking yourself that question, it starts bringing all these positive thoughts and feelings that you initially had when you started it in the first place, because you do have a reason, whatever that reason is. And so when you remind yourself of that, maybe like write it down in a journal or something, or just talk to your significant other or a friend or something. If you start having that dialogue, it can really jog that inspiration in your mind, start helping you get back to a more positive mindset. And so my last tip is to bring back the joy. So this could be a lot of different things. It could be something very small. It could be something really big, whether it's you're signing up for a class to really get you back into the mode of creating, or it could just be something really, really small, like getting out a coloring book and just making yourself color and, just doing it for fun and just allowing yourself to create something for fun and just pure amusement. It can really start bringing back that joy and that's like spark of creative energy. So this is where I wanted to mention again that blog post that I put together, 100 different ways to spark that creative energy and get out of that creative rut. So yeah, this list I put together really keeping in mind that there are so many different kinds of creatives, people whose minds work differently, and so hopefully there are some things on there that are going to be helpful. So those were my tips on how to get out of a creative slump. I really hope it helps someone out there. The goal of my channel is really to help inspire other creative people to pursue their passion. So if I have helped even one person, that makes me really happy, and that definitely makes me feel like my channel is worthwhile. That being said, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on future videos, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!